Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of SAT Sports with yours truly, Marcus. On the show today, we're going to recap the Saints' preseason win against the LA Chargers. But first, let me introduce to you my guest for tonight. He's one of my co-hosts and one of the hostly trio of the Worldly Podcast. Welcome back to the show, Jordan. How you doing today, Jordan?
I'm doing good, and you?
I'm doing great. You know, it's just crazy how I didn't expect, but I'm not surprised that, they're already undefeated in preseason, and the way they have been playing, I hope they can keep this momentum going when we get to the regular season come in September.
Yeah, they've been playing great lately, and let's get another one Sunday.
That's right. They got one last preseason game coming this Sunday night against the Houston Texans. Before we even get to any of that kind of talk, we'll just go back and recap their preseason win over the Chargers. Of course, we got some comments coming in already. We got Justin from the End Time Wrestling Podcast tuning in. What's up, buddy? But real quick, it's been a crazy last couple of days. Especially, not just that, let's say this week, by the way, it's like we kind of swapped some weathered hazardous things with the West Coast. They just had a hurricane, and we got the forest fires now.
Yeah. I walked outside this morning, and I just saw the bunch of smoke. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, it might be the end of the world already as we speak. But yeah, of my 34 years, I've never witnessed a forest fire or even heard of one come in our state. But they just had one like in central Louisiana yesterday, and it just blew the smoke all down southwest Louisiana and Acadiana. It was a bit smuggy today, and the smell of the smoke outside. This was around 11 o'clock this morning when I got out of my store, and I'm like, oh my God, this ain't no fog. Like, what the hell? Like, it's deja vu. Like, the Saints brought a hurricane to California, but they didn't get no. Kind of glad we didn't get it, but hey, they didn't get no severe damage where the Saints got stuck out there and they couldn't come back home. So glad to see everyone's doing okay with that.
Yeah.
Sorry, sending a selfie to a buddy of mine. But anyhow, I know you're excited football season's coming, but who are you more excited to see here? Are you excited for the Saints, LSU, the Bobcats, or all the above?
Everything. I'm ready for all three of them.
Oh yeah, me too. We got our jamboree tomorrow. I've been looking forward to that. I didn't get to go to the scrimmage last week, but I will be working the jamboree tomorrow, so I'll be there for that. One last preseason game with the Saints before the real one with the Titans, and then of course next Sunday, the one I've been waiting for, the rematch with Florida State, which I'm looking to do an episode on college football week 1 next week where we'll talk about that. But then I got one more preseason fallout with the Texans next week. Then it'll be about 2 weeks before I get an actual Saints episode again, getting ready for week 1 with the Tennessee Titans. So did you get to catch the game Sunday, or you got to catch some of it?
Oh, yeah, I watched it all. And they did pretty good. But all the penalties and everything.
Absolutely. We're going to definitely talk about the penalties, but I was very impressed. Well, they didn't play none of their first string. Derek Carr sat out, Alvin Kamara sat out, Jarvis Landry sat out, Tyrann Matthews, just to name a few. Basically everyone that's on first team sat out. So Jameis Winston got the start. Michael Thomas sat out. Jameis Winston got the start, and he had an outstanding game. 13 passes completed out of 21 for 169 yards for Jameis Winston. Kendry Miller, even though he got injured in the preseason game against the Chiefs, luckily it was minor. He got to come back and got himself a touchdown after just 3 plays for 33 yards. Got the first score on the board for the Saints. So great start for him. But let's also talk about Jake Hayner too. He had a damn good game himself. 11 completed passes out of 17 for 118 yards. So I'm kind of in a dilemma. Like I love Jameis, but I am now hopping on the Jake Hayner wagon too. Like Jake Hayner is pretty damn good for a rookie quarterback and being third string behind Jameis and of course Derek Carr. With that Texans game coming up, I think they should let Jake Hayner start. I mean, yeah, rotate around with Jameis, but let Hayner start. Let all three get a chance to start. Derek Carr started for the Chiefs. Jameis started for the Chargers. Why don't we let Jake Hayner start for the Texans this Sunday?
Yeah. Put him in. He did very good against the Chargers. Then he had to go to the sideline because they had to go check him for a concussion. But
yeah, that was a bit scary too. But luckily, he gets welled up and he can be back on the field for his matchup with the Texans. But what's one player that actually you were very impressed with from the Saints in that preseason game?
The one we just talked about, the quarterback.
Jake Hayner?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very, very impressive too. Like I'm gonna say that was my most impressive player in the game as well. But I will say a guy who made an impact in the game. I'm gonna say our kicker Will Lutz made a great impact. He had quite a bit of field goals made in that game. He had one for 33 yards. He had one for 51 yards. He had one for 34. That's all those penalties that were called back, which I think 3 touchdowns got called back for either like a holding or something like that. And it was frustrating. I felt like I was watching real season all over again.
And the pass interference ones.
Pass interference too. Well, they were sure, the Chargers were sure getting away with a couple of calls, but not all of them. But it's like, I remember I'd go look at the TV. I'm like, oh, we scored. And I go in the room and then I come back. I'm like, I had to rewind it. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I want to see what the penalty, like all 3 touchdowns I saw and hopped in the next room, got called back for a fucking penalty, whether it was pass interference, unsportsmanlike conduct, or holding, whatever. Like, I was furious. And I know it's only preseason, but this is getting out of hand with this one. But tell you what, they were sure making a comeback. Like, it was one of those games where it was scoreless in the first quarter. It was close, like 13-10 at the half, and then it ended up being 17-10 at the end of the third. But it was a competitive fourth quarter. At one point, I thought they were going to eventually like give it away, but Chargers actually started making some mistakes themselves. And then one interception towards the end of the game just like called it there. It'd been nice if they'd have just like tacked on another field goal for the hell of it. Like in that Chiefs game when they got the interception, they had a chance to win it, and they backup kicker kicked a field goal and won the game.
Yeah, the one they thought it was a fan.
Yeah, I saw his tweet. That was very funny. But the Chargers was like, they also didn't really play none of their starters. We didn't get to see Justin Herbert dress out. We didn't get to see like none of those guys. But like I think his name's Easton Stick. He was the passing leader for the Chargers. Not a bad game, for Easton Stick. Let's see. He had 21 completed out of 41 passes, 233 passing yards. He did throw 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're gonna make mistakes like that. But on rushing, Kendry Miller led in rushing. He had 10 carries for 23 yards and did get 1 touchdown. And in receiving, Shaquan Davis, however you want to say his name, led in receiving with 63 total receiving yards in 3 receptions. God damn it. Later. I told you she was going to walk out. Later. Made me mess up my mic there. could have been an intruder walking in, but yeah, but I will say, how would you, even though now we're 2-0 in preseason, The Chargers go 1-1. You got to give it to the Chargers. They always play competitive. I guess you go back to the days when Drew Brees was with the Chargers before he came to us in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they always have like a close game, like no matter what. But what call? I mean, I wouldn't say what call, but like out of all of like those 3 touchdowns that got called back, which one pissed you off the most? Mine was that. Mine was that one in the third quarter where he threw that. Damn, I can't even remember who the receiver was. He threw that long pass. He caught it in the end zone, and then they called it back for a holding. It was that play.
Yeah, they all did. Just don't make bad mistakes.
Yeah, but I didn't get to ask you this, but I asked my last guest I had on the show when we recapped last week. But what was your reaction when you heard about Jimmy Graham coming back as a New Orleans Saint?
Oh, I was happy that he came back and playing. Yeah, just coming back and playing with the Saints.
Yeah, but it was a scary situation over this past weekend. Remember, Jimmy Graham was detained early Saturday morning, but he was taken to a local hospital, believed to be it was like a seizure. But according to the doctor, he was been cleared and he did return to practice. So that's a good thing to hear about Jimmy Graham. So hopefully he's healthy. Everything he's been going through, he can get well soon and we can get ready to see him in week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. I do miss when he does those dunks. Every time he scores a touchdown, he does like a slam dunk on the field goal post. And then Roger Goodell at one point banned it because it was a Falcons game. I don't remember what year it was. It might have been in 2013 or something where the field goal post went from this to like that. Like he bent it.
Leaning.
It was leaning. But yeah, that was that was something to remember by.
Yeah, like when he did that before they banned it.
Yeah, I mean, do you the fact that he comes back, do you see him actually being the starter as a tight end, or do you kind of see him more like on special teams or maybe like as a rotation?
I would love to see him as a starter, but yeah, maybe a starter. I would love it to be, yeah.
Yeah, because you still got other like good tight ends. You got still got Taysom Hill. You still got Juwan Johnson, Foster Moreau, J.P. Holtz, guys like that. I mean, he could potentially be the starter, but but I do like see him kind of rotate around a little bit with like Juwan Johnson or even Taysom Hill, or maybe even Foster, to say the least.
Yeah, I forgot about those.
Yeah. Well, with their final preseason game coming up against the Texans, usually when it comes to that final preseason game, you definitely don't see a lot of your main guys playing. You always get those like second or third team guys playing, but the outcome could come either way. We could win that game or we could fall, like just take a loss, but get your confidence up going into week 1. Just give me like a prediction here. Do you see them going 3-0 in preseason, or do you think they'll fall in this one to the Texans? And give me a final score if you could think of one.
I think they should win, and hopefully they win this game, and hopefully it's good, and then get ready for week 1. And I don't know, so a score.
I think it's going to be competitive for second and third teams, but I see it being close. Whether they win or lose, I see it being close. If they win the game, I see them possibly winning by a field goal or no more than 4 points. If they fall in this game, I could see it being at least by like a close game, 1 or 2 point loss if they were to fall in this one.
Yeah, I can see probably a field goal.
I can
Probably.
now. I haven't looked at. I haven't really looked at the how the Texans looked in preseason or none of their guys. So I know they beat. Shockingly, they beat the piss out of the Patriots at the first preseason game. That like impressed me. I know they're 1-1. They won their first preseason game against the Patriots, and then they lost this past weekend against the Miami Dolphins. They lost 28-3.
Phew.
So they'll probably Saints will probably be the favorite. I mean, they do give out lines for preseason matchups. The Saints are favored -3.5 over the Texans. So, I mean, usually they say if they're -3 at home, you take them on the points, and they're most likely win at home. But I wish I had the little graph where it tells you like their percentage of winning, but they don't have it for the preseason here. But I'll just go ahead and say they probably will be the favorite to win if they're giving them 3.5 at home. And I can see them if I don't take the spread seriously in preseason, but I don't see them covering it. It could be under 3 in that one. But other than that, I mean, if you want to look at the regular season here, what game, if you had to pick one game out of the 18 games they got in the regular season, what game are you like got circled on your calendar like this is the one I want to watch the most out of all 18 matchups? Which they have 17 games because they have a bye, but out of the 18 weeks of the regular season. You got your 2 games with the Falcons, the Panthers, the Bucks. You got Tennessee, you got Packers, Patriots, Texans, Jags, Colts, Bears, Vikings, Lions, Giants, and the Rams this season.
I guess the Falcons.
Is it which Falcons game? Week 12 in Atlanta in late November, or the final game of the regular season at home?
I won't say the final game in the Dome.
So week 18, the final game before the postseason. Okay, so you waiting all the way till the end of the season, eh? I said it on that show that Adam did, on the road to Vegas that he did on the Saints that I joined. I said I am circling week 10 against the Minnesota Vikings. I said that's the game I'm ready for the most. I mean, you look at some of these other matchups, like the Rams, we proved we can beat the Rams. We have gotten our revenge from them after the no call. We've beaten them. This is that Vikings game. It's like lately the last few times we played Minnesota, we just can't beat them. And of course, I don't want to talk about the Minnesota Miracle or the Minneapolis Miracle, whatever you want to call it. That's in the rearview mirror. But I remember I think about that. I think about that week 1 loss in 2017 or 2018. They opened up week 1 on Monday night and they lost to Minnesota. Now, yeah, the last time we played the Vikings, we played them on Christmas Day. We beat them, but that was with no fans. That was in the Dome too, but this time we're going to their house, which their stadium was ranked number 1 as the top NFL stadium of the 2023 season, according to the NFL writers. So we go to their house. You got a bunch of guys in purple and gold doing the skull clap and got on the horns, Viking horns and everything. Going to their house and just shipwreck the Vikings. Shipwreck Kirk Cousins and unfortunately, our LSU brother, Justin Jefferson, get business done. And plus the fact that they no longer have their running back. He's now with the Jets. So that's going to be a major change for the Minnesota Vikings offense.
And the Packers, they don't have Rodgers no more.
Yeah, it's now Love's team. So, yeah, they're going to Lambeau week 3. I am very confident they can beat the Packers at Lambeau. Plus, it's early in the season, so it's not freezing cold.
Yeah, then they have the Panthers with what's his name, Bryce Young, huh?
Yep, Bryce Young was announced the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, that's another question I'd like to ask. In the division, do you see them? They've got 6 division matchups. What do you think their division record's going to be? You see them going 6-0, or do you see them at least losing one division game or two?
Yeah, probably like one or two. Yeah.
Yeah, I always say, like, when I look at how this goes, I see them sweeping Tampa Bay. You know, Tom Brady's gone, Gronk's gone, Baker Mayfield's now taking over the team. We know how he is as a leader. They're going to sweep Tampa Bay. The Falcons. Yeah, now it's Desmond Ritter's team, so I see them cleaning house with them. Now they might be a tough team. You know, that running back they drafted from Texas, he looked pretty good in the preseason. That's a guy to watch out for. But I could see them sweeping the Falcons. I see one game being super close. It'll probably be the game in Atlanta. But when they host them in the final week of the regular season, I could see it being a blowout. But it's like the Carolina Panthers, they always share that series with them. They can beat them at home, but they can't beat them on the road. Or they can be role reverse. They'll beat them in Charlotte, but they can't beat them in the Dome. And basically it depends how they do with Tennessee. But the fact that it is Bryce Young starting and Carolina hasn't been doing that good in the preseason, I could see them taking week 2 against them. But I would not be surprised come week 14 when we host the Panthers that we blow this game at home. I don't know. We'll see about that. What's your take on the Saints not having as many primetime games this year? They only have 3. They got one Thursday night game for sure against the Jacksonville Jaguars week 7, Monday night with the Panthers week 2 in Charlotte, and they have one more primetime game. Thursday night against the Rams week 16. So 2 Thursday night games and 1 Monday night game.
It really don't bother me because they almost all at noon.
Yeah, but I'm not big with the Thursday night deal anymore. It's like, yeah, it's exciting to watch football on Thursdays, but this deal with Prime Video now instead of watching it on NFL Network, it's like I got to turn off my DirecTV, change my channel to HDMI 2, and turn on my Xbox and click on the Prime app to watch this game. It's kind of the same thing with Peacock. Like, if I want to watch Astros baseball and they're live on Peacock, I got to switch channels because they're not going to show it on their channel if it's on Peacock. And same thing like if they were on like Apple TV, which I use Dylan's account sometimes. He was nice enough to give it to me. That's how I would keep up with the Dynamo and whatnot. I mean, if you're going to do a Sunday night game, it's got to be at home. I love when they have primetime games in the Dome because the crowd's different. They're always cheering and rooting for them. We're a different breed down here, but it's when it's prime time on NBC or ESPN, it's a whole different vibe. And it sucks we're not going to see that this year on 2 of the biggest primetime nights of all, Sunday or Monday night. But hopefully they can get these primetime wins. I mean, I'm kind of worried about the Jags game because Jacksonville is a good team. Now they're a good team now that they got everybody they needed. But I can see them beating the Panthers, and I can definitely see them beating the Rams. That's that Jags game I'm worried about here. So,
They should. They should just move Thursday Night Football on TV instead of having it on Prime Video.
Getting off the subject here, but what's your take on having a Black Friday game this season? Instead of, are you the type where do you like to go Christmas shopping on Black Friday, or you're just the type where I watch college football on Friday, Black Friday, but now you got an NFL game you can add to that list too?
Yeah. I just watch football. I don't go. It's too much to go shopping and all that. It's too many people.
Yeah, that's why I like to just do mine online. But yeah, there is one NFL game on Black Friday at 2:00 start time. It's the Dolphins and the Jets. Unfortunately, I won't be watching it. I'll be working. I have to work on Black Friday, so I won't be watching that, just like I won't be watching some of those great rivalry games college football weekend. So So now with how good his performance was last week against the Chiefs, how excited? Not how excited. How much confidence do you have in Derek Carr getting us a deep playoff run in a division title and hopefully a Super Bowl trip in the future?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to see him play, and yeah, he did really good on the first preseason game, and yeah, I can't wait to see where he gets us at.
Do you find that he looks more ripped and jacked up than he did when he was with the Raiders?
Oh yeah, yeah, he really does now.
Yeah, because like they had a comparison picture what he looked like with the Raiders, and then it's like his arms just look like machine guns
Mhm.
because he's like all ripped and jacked up.
Yeah.
So, do you see Michael Thomas actually playing this season, or do you think he's just going to get himself hurt again, or want to sit out?
Hopefully see him play, but
I hope
just
to,
hopefully.
because he's reminding me of Zion Williamson right now, and that's a
Yeah.
whole nother story there with the Pelicans. I'm giving him one last chance. I'm talking about Zion. And then the Alvin Kamara situation. Yeah, we know like he won't be playing the first I think it's the first 3 games of the season or something like that
Yeah.
due to the
Yeah.
issue in
Right.
Vegas. So probably Kendrick Miller could be the starting running back till Kamara comes back.
Mhm.
I feel like even though he won't be playing the first couple of games, they could still have a great offense. But once he comes back, I think the team's going to turn around and they're just going to be like this unstoppable force.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, when he comes back.
Yeah. How many this is kind of a personal question here, but like how you probably have been to way more than me, but how many Saints games have you attended? Does Dylan ever take you when he was a season ticket holder, or he
Yeah.
never took you at all?
Oh no, I've been to a bunch of them.
I know
Um.
you. I figured you definitely been to more than me. And last season I went to the final regular season game against the Panthers, and that was my first Saints game since 2015. It's a long
Yeah, I
time.
was at the no call one.
Oh, so you were there for that shit. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
So I remember telling Dylan this story, but you remember at halftime they had the performance by Choppa, right? They performed
Yeah.
Choppa style and everything. And on the Jumbotron, they had a collab of videos of people doing the Choppa dance.
Yeah.
My video made that damn cut. I have
Oh.
I don't I remember telling Dylan that and I shared it on Facebook, but there was a guy from one of the local news channels here that went to the game to cover it. I think it was KTC in Lafayette. He was in the nosebleeds and he like live streamed the whole Choppa style performance for people to watch at home. But every time he
Mm-hmm.
kept zooming back, you can actually see the collab videos. Well, at one point, some people of mine from my hometown went to that NFC Championship game, and they blew up my phone saying, "Oh my God, you got shown on the jumbotron," and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not there. They're like, no. Remember that Choppa style video you made when the Saints went on advanced to the NFC Championship? They did a collab video of every Choppa style video they got on Twitter, and yours made it. And I'm like, what? Sure enough, whenever I saw the live stream, every time they kept zooming back, I could see the videos in the background. I saw mine and I shared it. But I might have to go dig deep and find that. And I might have to like show you guys one day. I could probably find a way to put the actual video on here too, because I have the actual video on my phone of me dancing. So this was like 4 years ago. This was in 2019. So uh, I might have had facial hair. I don't remember if I did or did not. I just remember I came out of my room in a Drew Brees jersey, had a long sleeve, black Saints long sleeve under it. I had on some like jeans I bought from like Aeropostale or something with my with some tennis shoes on, and I just was like, I'll go from Choppa styling to jigging in the house, and then that freaking that dance, whatever the fuck that's called, I took that from my sister. Like it's funny shit ever. Like you gotta check it out.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Uh, Well, of all the Saints games you attended, what was the most favorite game you've ever attended in your life? I know it's gonna be a hard one, but if you could think of one off the top of your head.
I think I've been to a Saints game when they played the Cowboys, and I think they beat the Cowboys.
I wonder if that's the one I went to because that was mine. It was Sunday Night Football on Veterans Day. This is when they still had Tony Romo and stuff and Jason Witten, and the Saints beat the dog shit out of them on prime time on national television. That was my all time favorite Saints game I ever attended
Yeah,
because that was a bucket list. Like, I've always wanted to watch the Saints play the Cowboys, and not only that, I got to see them beat the dog shit out of them.
yeah, that was.
Not to mention all the games you've been to, you did see quite a bit of moments and memories, especially with Drew Brees. And I know Dylan said he was damn near there for all of them, especially the big one when he passed up Peyton Manning, being the all-time passing leader, getting that record about 5 years ago. Were you there for that game? I think it was either against Washington or it was against the Ravens. It was a Monday night game. I know that.
No, I wasn't at that one.
You wasn't there for that one?
Mm-mm.
I will tell you this: I wasn't there for that game. I was at I was at Walk-Ons actually in Lake Charles watching that one in person. But I was there. This was my favorite moment in the dome for a Saints game. I was there the day after Christmas in 2011 when not only they beat the shit out of the Atlanta Falcons, Drew Brees broke Dan Marino's record when he threw that short touchdown pass to Darren Sproles. We sat in the end zone, and we sat in the end zone side that he broke the record. So it was like right there in front of me instead of on the whole opposite side of the dome. So that was my favorite moment for Drew Brees breaking a record. I got to see him break Dan Marino's record in 2011.
That's pretty cool to see it. Just see it right there in front of you.
Yeah. That and I mean, the only other cool thing I could say was I got to see him play Tom Brady as a Patriot, even though it was a preseason game. But still, I got to see Brady in uniform. I got to see Brady play a whole first quarter, and Drew Brees play over against each other, even though it wasn't a regular season game. That was still a fun game, even though we lost. But I had high hopes on Garrett Grayson, and that was an epic fail. So we'll see when we get to that part of the season. So, but I said we were going to keep this one short because I didn't have much to say on it, but this one was good. Thank you again for coming on and talking a little bit of Saints. You'll definitely have you back on whenever the regular season comes, and hell, even when I got episodes talking college football and LSU. But I thought, you know what? Why don't we do this as a bonus here? So, college football actually returns this weekend with the so-called week 0, which they started that week 0 thing not that long ago. Like, it hasn't been long since they put a week 0 in college football, but I know you're excited that college football is coming back. Are you excited you get to watch like a bonus week that only features 7 games?
Oh yeah, football. Yeah, I'm ready for.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there will not be an episode of College Game Day in week 0. They never do a college game day. They kick it off week 1. But there's only 7 games. So like, I'm a kind of guy, I'm going to give people a little taste of what you're going to see on this show, especially whenever I do like a combined episode where whenever we got both seasons going on at the same time, I'll do like an NFL week 2 / college football week 1 recap, where we'll recap that and then we'll do the predictions for the next week. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to predict all 7 games. But when we get to the real deal, we're only going to do like primetime games or Power 5 matchups, like SEC games, Big 10 games, Big 12. Maybe local teams, like I might pick a Raging Cajun game if they got a big one or something like that. But we do have one Louisiana team kicking off week 0 this weekend. One I don't really care for, but We'll check them out. But here's what we got. This is the biggest game of week 0. So big, they're playing it in a whole nother country. It's the return of the Notre Dame's iconic Shamrock Series. They're going to play one of their rivals, one of many rivals they have in college football. They're taking on Navy, and it's going to be played in Dublin, Ireland. So 1:30 p.m. start time for us on NBC. Does Notre Dame add another victory in the Shamrock Series, or do the midshipmen upset the Fighting Irish in their homeland of Ireland, even though they're in South Bend, Indiana?
I'm gonna go with Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame is ranked number 13 in the nation. They 95.3% favorite in this game, and they're giving them minus 20.5 over Navy. You think they cover that? They gonna win by more than 20?
I don't know. Maybe.
Like I can see it being like like a 41-7, which I'm not giving an actual score prediction, but if I did, I'd say like 41-7 Notre Dame over Navy. It wouldn't even feel like a rivalry. But and all 7 games are nationally televised, like whether if it's on NBC, ESPN, FS1, the SEC network, bullshit Pac-12 network that's about to be into crop shit. But all right, so we got UTEP versus Jacksonville State. This one actually be an interesting one to watch. I know people are looking at these two teams like this ain't nothing, but this would be something I'd like to attend. You got a team like UTEP versus a team that's been dominant in the FCS, that they're actually playing a team from, I think UTEP is either Conference USA or American Conference. So who you got, UTEP or Jacksonville State?
I'll go with Jacksonville State.
You're going with the Gamecocks. UTEP's the favorite, but just the fact Jayville's hosting this instead of it being in El Paso, I'm going to go with Jayville State with an upset. See it happen. We're going to bring back what they call, remember we used to do, it was called the Toilet Bowl of the Week, the Toilet Bowl game. I'm going to nominate this one as one of maybe 2 or 3 games as the Toilet Bowl game of the week. We got UMass versus New Mexico State.
New Mexico State.
Yes, I'm picking the Aggies also, New Mexico State. This one could be an interesting one. We got Ohio, not Ohio State, Ohio from the MAC, the school that Joe Burrow's dad used to be offensive coordinator at, the Bobcats. Ohio versus San Diego State.
Ohio.
You're going with the Bobcats? I'm going to take San Diego State. All right. We're going to actually have an SEC team playing this Saturday. But it's the worst SEC team in the conference. The worst of the worst. Playing another program, but I'm only going to watch it because it's an SEC team. We got Vanderbilt hosting Hawaii.
Vanderbilt.
Yep, I'm going with Vanderbilt, but they need to get their stadium together. Like, they're trying to renovate their stadium, and they're playing with a bunch of construction in the area, so yeah. This one could be another Toilet Bowl game. This is going to be a nasty, nasty game. USC versus San Jose State.
USC.
Yeah, I hate USC, but they are going to decimate the Spartans of San Jose State. This will probably be like a 70-0 matchup. And then last but not least, we got one team in our state playing at home. We got Louisiana Tech, the Bulldogs, hosting Florida International, or FIU, whatever you want to call them.
Louisiana Tech.
So you're going with La Tech. You know what? As much as I don't like those guys, I will pick them to win this game as well. Starting off week, giving Louisiana a head start, saying, "Oh, we're 1-0 in week 0." But how do you think LSU is going to look this year? You think We got a chance to beat Bama again. You think we can beat Florida State? You see us going back to the SEC championship? You think Brian Kelly can do what Kim Mulkey and Jay Johnson did in year 2 as a head coach?
Well, yeah, I think they gonna be pretty good this year, and hopefully go back.
All right. Well, this will be my last question before we close out. Outside of LSU, what's one Louisiana school you are gonna like watch? Like, are you most hyped to like see if they're televised and see if they can have an outstanding season? I'll go first with this one. I'm ready to see how Tulane does after the season they had last year, winning their conference, winning the American Athletic Conference, and then on top of that, your biggest win in school history. You beat USC with a Heisman quarterback in one of the New Year's Six. You win in the Cotton Bowl against them. I think Tulane's going to be my team I'm going to be cheering for on the side. I know them and LSU were rivals back in the day, but they don't play each other no more. So I'm going to be watching quite a bit of Tulane this year out along with LSU. I hope they have another successful season, another conference championship, maybe even another New Year's Six appearance. Just not against us. Go play like another school. What about you? Who you like to see outside of LSU succeed?
I guess I'll go UL.
So you're going to go with the Raging Cajuns?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how they do. They have a chance to be successful this season. You know, I got a copy of their schedule. You know, I see them winning quite a bit of games, but I see them losing a couple of games here. But, well, you know what? That'll do it for today's episode. This was fun. Thank you again for coming on. Before we close out, let them know where they can find you on social media.
You can find more on X at Jordan_J2000.
I'm staying with Twitter. I'm just going to say Twitter. I can't do the X thing. But I'm on Twitter at MarcusLee337. You see it right below your screen. You can also follow the show on Twitter at SAT Sports 89. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to watch these shows anytime on demand, powered by StreamYard, part of Driving to the Top Productions, where the road don't stop. And this episode is sponsored by W Energy. Go to w.gg, use the promo code SAT Sports to get 10% off of your order. Just do not drink this if you're experiencing unusually rapid heartbeat, dizziness, severe headaches, or shortness of breath. Stick with Gatorade like he got, or unless that's water, or is that alcohol?
Water.
All right, Bobby Boucher. Well, that will do it for tonight's episode. Jordan, I will see you later on this week when we do our next live stream with the World Elite Podcast. And I hope you enjoy watching wrestling this weekend, as well as watching some more preseason NFL last week before we get to week 1 and the return of college football. You deserve it, just like we do, and enjoy watching your Eunice Bobcats. Hope y'all have another successful season.
Yeah, hopefully.
Do you go to all the games, or you just go to a few?
A few.
Dylan takes you, or you just ride with whoever?
No, Ryan takes me.
Oh, Ryan don't even go watch his Green Demons?
No, he don't go. But Dylan said that he wants to go to one game though for Mamu. So
tell him to come to week 2 at Lake Arthur. He can watch me on the sideline. All right, man. I will see you later this week. We are wrapping up tonight. And thank you for everyone tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. Might be see us twice next week. I might be doing 2 episodes. You never know. Well, that will do it, man. Take it easy.